Peace, peace, peace. Are you home? Fellow devotees of the Lord, I must say that I am happy to be invited to be part of this celebration of yours. As if by design, this year we also celebrating 50th anniversary of the foundation of the Hindu Monastery of Africa. Before we proceed to listen to the main speech, there's one observation I've made, today being the first time entering here. To caption that, I may have to state that it's like unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. This goes to buttress one of the key points in Hinduism, that all beings, when I talk of all beings, not only human beings, the entire creation is moving towards a goal, the ultimate goal. Today, the question before us, Hinduism has been in existence, who knows? I'm not going to say that it's the oldest living religion, but it's been for millennia. So to be given maybe 30 minutes or even a whole day to do justice, to introduce to this or that, it's impossible. So what we'll do is that I wish to appeal to you people that I'll just sort of put out catchy points. And thereafter, I hope you respond by asking questions in as much as possible what you want to do. If in the process of that, you find me anyhow, in any way unable to satisfy you, please, it is entirely my fault. It's not the fault of my teacher. Whatever I do here, I do in the name of the teacher, the remover of darkness. His Holiness Swami Ganananda Saraswati Maharaj. Hari Om. What I will be saying is, because the topic is Hindu experience, we'll be looking at the meaning of Hinduism, founder of Hinduism, and then the origin of Hinduism, before we will go on to the concept, the Hindu concept of God. Hindu concept of God. Thereafter, few beliefs of Hindus will be also made available. I think out of this, there will be so many follow-up questions. Some will be very, very interesting. That will together do it. Hinduism, what is it? Hinduism embraces all aspects of human endeavor, which makes one come to terms with the laws of nature. Somebody may say it's a way of living. It's a way of living. The original name of Hinduism is Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma. It's not Hinduism. Sanatana Dharma means the eternal path. The truth. While Sanatana means eternal truth, while Dharma shows the path. In other words, Sanatana Dharma, which we claim we are practicing, is that path, the true path that leads us to our objective of being in this world. Sanatana Dharma, the true path, the eternal path to salvation. It is that which holds society and civilization together by righteous living. Founder of Hinduism, unlike other religions or many religions derive their names from the names of their founders. This is not so in Hinduism. Now, it is not so in Hinduism. So let's look at how the word Hinduism came about. Hinduism was established on the spiritual experience of many spiritually awakened men. Sometimes, if you go looking at the literature, you find sages, spiritually awakened men, sages, who throughout the ages refreshed message of spirituality. It is thus impossible for anybody to claim ownership of the religion Hinduism. Otherwise, Hinduism has no founder. You cannot say that it's this particular person who is the founder of Hinduism. Hinduism is as old as the time. Then how did the word Hinduism come about? The mispronunciation of the word Sindhu gave birth to the word Hindu. Sindhu to Hindu. What is Sindhu? Sindhu is a river in India whose banks were occupied by groups of people among whom this particular religious practice prevailed. That is, along the banks of the river Sindhu in India, there were these people who were practicing Sanatana Dharma. The practitioners called it the eternal path, or the eternal truth, or the path, the eternal one, which will take them to their destination. That is their objective of being in this world. They call themselves, they were practitioners of that Sanatana Dharma, not Hinduism. This took place along the banks of Sindhu River, where in India. They had contact with Arab merchants. These people practicing Sanatana Dharma had contact with Arab merchants. In Arabic, the letter S does not occur as a word initially, and the closest substitute for S was H. Instead of saying Sindhu, they said Hindu. Group of people outside that domain were referring to those people, instead of saying Sindhu, because the letter S did not exist at the beginning of the word, the closest letter H, they prefix it. Hence, Hinduism was born. So if you say so. Instead of saying Sindhu, they say Hindu. Hindu was thus used to describe the religion of the people who lived along the banks of Sindhu River. Sindhu River. The beginning of Hinduism is traced to the 3rd millennium before our common era. Over 3,000 years before the birth of, if you permit me, Lord Christ. Over 3,000 years. So, if you call it Sindhuism or Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, it's well over 5,000 years old. According to the German theologian Max Muller, that is where we got the information. That is over 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, or BC if you call it. According According to his theory, nomadic tribes, which he believed were of European descent, settled on the banks of Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra rivers. Ganges and Sindhu and Brahmaputra are rivers that still do exist in today India. These tribes were called Aryans. Though different scholars have made guesses about the original home of the Aryans, many sages, including Swami Vivekananda, were firm in their beliefs that Aryans did not come from any place outside India. Arya, which means pure, noble, righteous, and progressive in Sanskrit, was associated with the said tribes. In fact, India has been the ancient home of the Aryans who migrated to other lands. There is abundant proof in the Indian literature that the ancient abode of Aryans was the Sindhu River banks. Maybe we have been led to understand the meaning or how the word Hinduism came about. Now, concept of God from the perspective of Hindus. The complex nature of Hindu God makes it to be wrongly associated with polytheism. Polytheism. One philosopher will say, criticism is good, better still is self-criticism. We know some of the wrong impressions paraded about Hinduism, especially within our cultural setting. Polytheism, the worship of many gods, very rampant among us all. Even not only in Ghana, but all over the world. What is the reaction of Hindus to this? Is it true? Just as I said, this is perhaps the greatest misconception about Hinduism. The appropriate and perhaps befitting word instead of polytheism, because there is some element of truth looking at what Hindus do as an ordinary person, you begin to think that, yes, they are practicing polytheism. We think that instead of polytheism, we should be described as pluralism, religious pluralism. Religious pluralism is a unique feature in Hindu doctrine. By pluralism, we mean our inclination to God in terms of individual differences, social or cultural and historical background. Of course, in the time epoch, depending upon the way somebody feels, if God, for one reason or the other, had been a helper, exceptionally, I think some people say the word boafo. Am I right? Sorry if I don't get it right. Some people say what? Because they felt that, God had been so good, he had been able to do things that they thought the most potent person could not do. Said, Mahu, that which that is all potent person, and so on and so forth. That runs through, those things run through cultures, not only in Ghana. Okay? So we allow for, if you say pluralism, religious pluralism, yes, but polytheism, no. Why do people sometimes refer to God as Father in heaven? Why not, for instance, as mother, female, or as child? The answer is how we relate to God depending upon the issue at stake. That's what I was trying to say. And because Hinduism has been there all these years, practitioners have experienced different things over the years. So, generally, God that cannot be described in words, that is physically, one cannot describe words. Not even your thinking is physical in a way. It is not spiritual enough. So, to describe God is sort of, one is trying to limit the unlimited. Hence, the individual soul, depending upon the way God has helped him, her, will try to portray God as such. That is the answer, is how we relate to God depending upon the issue at stake. After all, is it not so wonderful how babies or young ones enjoy mother's impenetrable security? Especially, this is worth noting among the animal kingdom, or in the animal kingdom, or among the animals. The implication of relating to God as mother may be to enjoy that complete safety and security, as well as enjoying mother's breastfeeding at a given time. The issue of pluralism is obviously direct and plain. That is, one God playing different roles. Just like a father in the house, his daddy, when he goes to work, depending upon his position in the production sector, he may be a manager, he may be a teacher, he may be a soldier. When he's driving, he's a driver, and so on and so forth. It's the same person. So depending upon the role God has played in your life, you may want to like him too. That's how coming pluralism has crept into observations of Hinduism, but not polytheism. We are driving gradually to a point where you come to say that Hindus do not believe in the existence of many supreme God. We have one absolute God, Brahman. If President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has officers, ministers, that doesn't mean that we have more than one president in Ghana. We have only one president at a given point, but he may have many ministers. You need to know who is in charge of what, but one president. One God playing different roles. Hindus approach God in different ways. Hindus, in the practice of Hinduism, we do approach God in different ways. But there are two major ways by which you can classify most of these things. One is as personality with attributes and form. As attribute and form. For instance, you may come across the Richard Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Lord Shiva, Goddess Lakshmi, and so on and so forth. Yes, they are acceptable in Hindu practice. They fall under God being perceived with attributes and form. There's a reason. We'll get to that gradually. Then, the second way one can relate to God is as principle that underlies everything, formless and without attributes. Formless and without attributes. That means the Hindus, you may find at one point referring to God as something physical with form and attributes. Then the second classification is that formless. For instance, the ultimate, the absolute Brahman. These are concepts you cannot even imagine adequately. It's permissible. To the novice, particular, that is beginners, people who have just begun on the path, viewing God as personality with attributes and form is the ideal, since the mind can get something to hold on to. Two main classifications or approach to God. One is personal and one is impersonal. But here, Hindus are saying that on average, though there are exceptions, rarely, very rare exceptions, for a novice, for a beginner, the second method of formless is very difficult. Hence, you find that most texts of Hinduism, you find this particular one like Lord Shiva, Goddess Lakshmi, Ganapata, and so on and so forth. They fall under the first category of form and attributes. This ushers Hindus into the use of this situation to help novice, an average novice, to be able to get started. Perhaps ushers Hindus into the use of images for worship. Images, they are representation. Simple as that. Images, they are representations. They are not the final thing. So for a beginner, even in ordinary life, you need something, a model to start with. Just as you go to school, begin to talk about maybe counters. Use counters. 1, 2, 3, gradually before you go. If you go to even a chemistry class, you can tell you that an atom is spherical and so on and so forth. But the concept, as you evolve, begins to change to get to the truth every day. But without these foundations, could we have been able to produce the Einsteins and so on and so forth without a counter or counters? You can just imagine. So Hindus, sages, several thousand years ago, I found that yes, it would be very beneficial for an average beginner. Hence the use of images in the attempt to get to God. However, the other approaches are originally for advanced souls. I said it that there's an exception to the fact that number one, that is the worship of God with as a form and then attributes is good. There are a few exceptions where souls do not actually go by that one. I must accept that. I know I'm being hinted that there's not much time on our side. Now, I'll leave that. It's like we have attempted to look at polytheism. I know there are so many areas I've not been able to speak on properly, but we get to some beliefs in Hinduism. Hindus believe in one all-pervasive supreme being who is both immanent and transcendent, both creator and unmanifest reality. I think this is just a combination of the way we relate to that in terms of forms and then formless. Number 2, that the universe undergoes endless cycles of creation, preservation, and destruction. Don't know whether I'm making sense here. That's a belief of one of the beliefs. Number 3, that all souls are evolving towards union with God and will ultimately find moksha, that is liberation. This is equally an important point. To say that no matter how, every creation is evolving, that nobody is actually condemned to permanent stagnation, that's the end of you for having existed for 70 years on earth. So that's the end of you. Now, Hindus don't believe that. Everybody is evolving. Some may be evolving at a rate different from others or faster than others. That is accepted. But anyhow, anyway, there's always that evolution ongoing. That is, we are evolving towards the ultimate aim of being on earth. We believe in karma, the law of cause and effect, by which each individual creates his own destiny in his thought, word, and deeds. Karma, the law of action, retribution. Whatever you do, when I say do, karma means action. Action may not be physical alone. Even the words that come from me create karma. Words, actions, or activity, and even in thought. When I sit down quietly in a forest or in a cave, the mind is still creating karma. We believe in that. That divine beings, number 5, we believe in the existence of divine beings in the unseen world, and that temple worship, as we find, for instance, here, and rituals, sacrament, as well as personal devotionals, create a communion with these sentient beings that we call devas. In ordinary parlance, we may call them angels. Hindus believe in that, the existence of such. You may not be able to see them. They are not physical objects. They are not in this physical existence that you see. They're in another world of their own, but they do exist. That's how I believe in a way. Number 6, that a spiritually awakened master. We use the word Satguru. Spiritually awakened master. Somebody who has traveled the path that we are embarking upon, the salvation. Somebody who has gone beyond that. In the physical form, referred to as Sadguru. Every neophyte on the path, we believe, needs assistance or need to be under the tutelage of such a fellow. That all life is sacred, to be loved and revered, and therefore practice non-violence. Sanskrit word ahimsa, non-violence. Practice of non-violence. Every life is sacred. So as much as possible, you don't destroy, especially woefully, or you don't terminate. Not only human beings, I'm talking in creation, in this universe. And even though I say this, it is very difficult to achieve that state where you don't create karma by destroying this sacred life of other beings. We believe in Murti Puja. Murti Puja in the sense that sacred image worship, where consecrated image represented God or his incarnation, avatara, is used as a medium of worship. We believe in that also. With this, I've been reminded that I have virtually no time to go. May I pause for questions that I'm unable to, I have not been able to properly explain to the audience, the congregation. Most particularly, I have a colleague here who can speak the local language. And if you don't mind, I'll give you the opportunity to say a word or two in the Akan before we continue. Hariom Tassad. Jonathan.
Medona say, many are no member upon a major no wish him in a Father's Day ampa. Remember the more canning na nature na no. Ninchi my born top fire and chair. Said a bay abamia hunsasa, Yarosum young coupon or singing akumim. Non care there, yea and gemma geman. Modi can medasi, menuaji papa pade, baham, my men with them a sign ni wo. Nti nyimpa ɔde da musumi bɔbɔ adze no ɔyɛ spiritual master. Nti me wɔfrɛ me Jonathan Rue fi Cape Coast Elimina. Na mmom ma ɔbɛyɛ fiɔ ma ɔyɛ dɛ nka menyam ɔtete mo Methodist Mission House for 10 years hard labor. Nka Christians fo nyinaa nka wɔmbrɛ ha. Wɔmbɔ hu dɛ sana Hinduism ya modernized in the Ghana tradition, in the Ghana way of Christianity, because Adam Peden be saying there, why meditation is it? Meditation, because concentration no lead to meditation. Yankopo East and other West. Echo is there's no end. Ebeko higher, there's no end. Into manam brother caning now and there. Yen nani pot baba do often Swami Gananda Saraswati Maharaj ofi senya breko hera. Nemo aduma no wo nemu na yenyim. Aduma no wo papa nemu na yenyim. O de afraba onye na mame wo na mame tie ni na no so menko school bia Nemo so onyini na se mame na anwodo antie no de sana. Nya na mame no abon na le mom no abon. Papa e da de bobo ade no. Masa senya small. Yina ye free Christianity ni ebedwane nti mehu saa de we wo ha na abato incense ha obakada nka yesom bosom yes ebakada yesom bosom enso ebeto Jesus Christ na lankasa oye meditation nti that my royal part no it deals with more kada karma no the do's and don'ts when you traditional culture menye I onche ahotsewezi or should in so or ye sutina the Indian or friend is Hindu no the mabreno na that letter H name ho into a turn into this as known to Mombo na bayan Hindu in there obi call India kusia magica or about no the midin to nodo into obi at Hindu up watching their magic religion. Somewhat is Hindu professor Hindu bino ofi Central region wa okohu de hu de tin or ye kronkron de or ya hotwe eya wo practicing nti no so do to no ho do the friend Hindu and to obi aka Hindu was a magic religion or ya bosomsom na emom ni na ne kese no wala omo eti am no preceptor na baba be kirem afeda wonye hina dem rocheche Hinduism ye don't and do kama dama nyankopon na lankasa dem rechi or ye kor nsoso Odan who eti wonyame pinjem bebre. Yejina haya se Father's Day. Ampa Father's Day. Father ni yeye mawana. Yeye ma yeye mamenom. Father yeye mawana. Yeye ma yeye mamenom. Na modan so yeye ma yeye papa nom. Yenhwe besie biara wejina jina pe biara na beyin papa tar nechi. Na dem so na beyin biara wejina de pe besie papa so tar nechi. Intin besiafo no wo fra on power. Brof kasem no but eko Sanskrit mu India ma e from Shakti imbe info de yen kohwe yen nyemehwe mesiafo no push yen. A woman had a plan for making something or back to Mrs. Nyama beyin ntum shade say beyin from besia wan hwe ne odba friend me dantem say mom say besia from beyin a enche bi odbetwade because yamadan were powerful. One wokite na nteba Hindu monastery ebe to mother represent cosmic mother And what you do, this is what is going on. Cause me more time nation of the area no one, or a Surya na yere kanina, or a Krishna, more time nation or a BC offend Radha, Shiva, more time nation offend poverty. Into the man sooner, our mena etwe, Ukun, our time nation, our mother of the universe, yeah, mammy. The me abro for the bed was from the origin. From the origin, because you know my father you go as you do. Me who ya the Sabbath fresh period was come me mama, you papa we dey shame, they do 9 years and more than me afraba. I'm to me bomb bra. But there's something beyond. Ne mom say be na wo this religious part here, me won there, what do my enu anu here in fact. Yamin show na. How I bet today or how man be. Hinduism. I make call Christian home, me call you preaching. That my brother can ya. So what a man you often a Professor Duncan or a preacher. Professor Duncan, so what in the pena or sounds a lecturer, make us say or US. Oba around okay religious program Christianity. I mean I'm more Hindi, I mean I'm some around me a coordinator, me the media. Because people fear to come to Hinduism. But as a Hindu personality or Hinduism, because in there as you talk about God. God, and I know you in what is the different God we have? Only one God. And so Eben Chichema is meeting. Timbreda Kede, Echo Ejumema, was now what the fear and so for dada. Echo Ejuma, be an accountant for accountant. You better there drive a car, but for a driver. You better there will have been married or have answered a farmer. Into Yankopon a lawyer one or attribute yourself for you may be brave. Nemum into me Yankopon baby at the Wakumim. Into Dharma intuition in our friends, spiritual knowledge. Ya wanya bi ho mo no ensua, but ni na no mama sande chem no meditation mo na mbe that because salvation nkwaje no eni Bible no mo. Enkita precept nsemo, enkita swami nsemo, ekita wala nkasa. Obama guidelines, your meditation, your papa, your day, more fatter. That is why Hinduism also is the way of practicing of the noble way. No, I suffer. Obi a suffer pinjan obaho. I don't want to listen. Near the obey power so obey spiritual knowledge from Swami Ganananda ho. And so on show that. On show because Yankopon Lankasa no sepede sum Yankopon a na sum nemba or there brown ase. That is why you have to mellow your ego. The self-assertion in English win. Ahomaso no do ekofum ono na Yankopon obecha wade. Ebe say as ma bedem he bia ye devotional work. Ye devotional work. GOD, generation operation direction or generator operation destruction. Bro, now from Yankopon friend God. This Sanskrit name power, that generation operation destruction. That's the Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, the creator, the preserver, and the origin. On no bazeno. Or Sanskrit mazini ye, or you are sanso aseno. Say, and Yamor Kodo and Abrabum hang nara, and one day diaba, we feel free, or no develop was so about fine. When there one man so attend to a black another green. That means that no one nipa na abram. Inti no much na say Hindu to yes ye be mo ha. Ahwe be 2 months kra na ye explanation. A profound. Inti no ne kesini nala or wa komem meditation will guide you. Arom. Yakasa aroma or praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Arom chanted. Ndamwase.
My name is Ni Ashi. During your teaching, I was getting certain vibrations. Indeed, next week, I know we'll be having someone from the traditional religious background to also come and teach us, just like you've done today. But as part of the elements you were mentioning, I was seeing some similarities. I'm yet to be educated some more on the traditional religious beliefs as well. But with the pluralism, as you expressed. The little I know about the traditional religious sect is also to show that, yes, it is not to say that they believe in the mountain, they believe in those symbols or the items that many may call idols. Just as you went on, you also expressed that these are symbols that you may have, but it is not about idol worshiping. I just want to know, is what you are doing, the Hinduism, is it not just like we see other fellows practicing the African traditional religion? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have another question?
Yeah, my question is, though from other schools of thought, the Hindu religion, I don't know whether it's the same as Buddhist, they all come from the East, some at the ancient time. They all come from East and even Latin America, then Egypt. It is true that those who brought the religion, they didn't give name to the religion, though it's a well-established religion. Just like the Christian. Jesus is not a Christian. Muslim, Muhammad is not a Muslim. The same as Buddha is not a Buddhist. But the disciples that decided to give it name like that. Good. As you spoke, you didn't give us the details of how you go about your meditation, as we see over there. How many times do you meditate? And how do you go about it? So that we see if some of us can come to your temple. And I want to know whether it's the same temple that as is on this Odoko road, or that one is the Buddhist center. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Are you? Yes, these are not unexpected questions. Because it's not the first time. So we're ready for them. Mr. Ashite, am I right? Is that the name? Ashi? Yes. Your observation is very detailed. You know, if we traveled down the memory lane a few moments ago when I was making the presentation, Hinduism is as old as human race. That not one person can claim that he is a founder. Right? What we are not here to portray any religion. We are saying things from the perspective of Sanatana Dharma. Some questions, one particular question you ask yourself is, if we go by the definition of God, is there an impossibility for God? The answer is no. If you go by definition of God as the creator of everything, is there anything on earth that is not created by God? Is there a situation where God will be so unkind to some group of people and give some others, his preferred children, the way to get back to him and live to the exclusion of others? God cannot be. Answers to this, they are commonplace things. You need not just to go beyond it and find out for yourself. You may be a Robinson Crusoe. That is, you may be isolated, that you don't interact with the external world. But there's nothing that precludes you from reaching God. And that God is innate within you. It's the same God that will show you the path. Call him Allah. Call him Jehovah, Buddha. It's about the same thing. It's only man's ability or an attempt to quantify that which cannot be quantified that seems to bring the differences. Practitioners of the African traditional religion, they can go to heaven. They can go to heaven. Don't think that because I am a Hindu, I will go to heaven alone. No. Anybody from any background can go to heaven. So if you find some similarities, that is a path. What is truth anyway? Truth is that which never changes. So if this my friend is wearing this brown, and I tell you it's brown, somebody from another side will say brown is brown, irrespective from the angle from which it's coming. It's brown. Practitioners of African traditional religion, by our concept of God, can go to heaven, depending upon the way they put it, the motive behind what they are doing. Because at the beginning or somewhere along the line, God did not give how to get back to him to somebody else and left to the exclusion of Africans. No. I don't know whether I've made your listen.
I'm fine, thank you.
Then the second person asking about meditation. Yes, indeed. We didn't say much about meditation because I think the opportunity given is not for meditation. Meditation is a very important aspect. Look, some people do meditation unconsciously. They are not aware that they are doing it. Listen, but you and I know when you are taught something and you're doing it consciously, it's much more effective, beneficial, easier to do than when you are just doing this. You ask, how do we do meditation? There are various ways that one can do meditation. Look at the word meditation. What is meditation? If you look at meditation, meditation is a process. I'll explain. Meditation is a process. You can't be saying that I am doing meditation. No, that is not continuous tense. If you are really doing meditation, you can't say it. Meditation is concentration. He said it. You sit down, you try to concentrate your mind. The mind naturally has been made to be jumping like a monkey. It's difficult to train the mind to focus on one thing. He who is able to conquer the mind has done the best to himself or for himself. Because the mind is the bridge between the physical world and then the spiritual world. The mind, you use it for anything at all you can use it for your betterment or for your self-distraction. But meditation is a process where we thought you begin to concentrate. It gets to a point. All activities that you can see that you are doing, you actually get to a point where you transcend the mind. Because the mind is also physical. You transcend. When you transcend, you lose your mind. At that point, you are unaware. It's a joke. If you go beyond your mind, you are unaware of what is happening there. So meditation is a process whereby you try to start by concentrating, focusing. If your mind jumps at a rate of 50 hertz, then bring it to 20 hertz. And then what I mean to say that initially your mind may be jumping from maybe 15 objects per second. When you are concentrating, you do it so that it begins to fall to maybe 7 things per second, gradually, until it gets to just one point. What normally we do is that when you are given if your mind is not restrained, you are dissipating energy. So the same mind, the sages have found a way of making use of the same mind to conquer the mind. So instead of allowing it to fall on objects that are not relevant, they try to make it fall on God. At that point in time, when it coincides with God, whatever, instantaneously, spontaneously, simultaneously must happen. It's difficult. So meditation actually is an attempt to focus the mind until you go beyond that, you lose the mind. There are various ways of doing that. Some of the ways is that, like when you say Bhakta, it's devotional, through devotion. You can be singing God's name always. God's name always. You know, sometimes when you are doing something and concentrate, you're singing, you forget the way you are doing the thing. It gets done by itself. You forget about yourself. You forget. Somebody comes to call you, you are not aware. Gone. Among the Hindus, or within the Hindu tradition, sometimes even you are giving some particular names to your children. It is not for nothing. It is an aid. So that even if your children are in the house, they are causing trouble, you are mentioning Durga, Vishnu, you are all mentioning God's name. Mind you, ideally, human beings, we should have God's name 24/7 on our lips. 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. But it's impossible. Because we're in this physical world, you have to take care of the vehicle physically before spiritual things will come. But an attempt to help you to fill in the gap in between. But children, they are causing trouble. You think they are causing trouble? You may stop this, Vishnu, Ganesh, Gopal, all this. They are all this. So meditation is a process where you focus on mind until you transcend beyond whatever happens there. You cannot see it. Whatever is there, that's a different world. So you cannot say what happens in the in that spiritual realm. You cannot express it in words because even the words are physical. But gradually, when you do that, it has some influence in your outward being. Seriously, that's what I'll say. I don't know whether I've answered this. Maybe he will say.
Dambra, my brother be saying, beside the FN and non most my bosom no way they are confonazing me now so one debut na to them ye claim the Hinduism to them no other sect no. Yankupon Lankas no BM even animal kingdom pokran or hawkram what be or aberdinton and what many be obeying yimpa, a bin some ben yimpa, a bin so liberation. Our law of karma no ye juma, ejido on jinzo or ye juma, at that mammy our another obeu is so as through a dombo from a rituals wewu. Into no more me there. We no say tradition so wa band down wa but even but down from poor nam street to dumpo crown e bi honor ya tapas. Yakada tapas o tuana ka bi a obiara nyim so do ne life ndo abodam on nam also ka ye bibi na be ye na achin na edru bi no wicked na de. Nobody knows, only God knows. God knows him so on nam on emom enyim na de carbona case oba ba wodin pon. On over face ben no go temeti on yer but how fit e be yer. And that's it. Into no baby obi anyankopon or select number. Ibi wo oshinim. I don't know my water. O do neta manyankopon be in efim na neta maso. Or do basenko. Ibi wo dream. And it doesn't literally means in the kingdom was this and there. Yashisha sabata fresh and period sago kafra. Ya address about a yankote ne every yankopon. Obi otitu we drew the boa on so no kwanda wa nyamishan pa because we na and say on there. Well, because some may be what's the abosom would some? Yeah, they also want to liberate. Abosom as one so podoko. Nemum wajeros. Here mom near the final image of the Father. Here near Yamin Sasso. It's near to me home and discrimination tota. Yet ye pensem. Even above on the crown way envying. Angels in the crown. The envyings are you man and answer creative one. Yeah, one was about 10,000 years. Ye and someone. Do you know how it come to become a human being? It's not into no. They have a liberation. So in what day on cheddar being but coming to about Messan okay there offending as in Hinduism, Buddhism, I don't know. Hey, answer me, I may form new years and no one at all. Benankasan your harmonum, a pedian who second world, it had 3 bodies, physical world, subtle world, and causal world, Nina Womo. One who named you was the canny, more so dear you no woman at the Sudano. Now, son, a crucial shim Mary Sudan, Otta, wireless pole, a first one, a crucium, Damon has an intimate day. Yankopon was said that we be a child there, Edda, and then and baby. A bitumen dap and what to Charo, you be recoverable in anyone or the catado, or the partner kiss bound. Yes, this is how it is. Into our way to Omnia is the session of God, no harmonum, to be piawa. Of salvation or harmonum, no, name the do's and don't, because this party a moment, a soulful part, a spiritual trance, a soulful part in Kunyumdi. I be woman, you want my one day, I don't know for day, I'll read no baby, and you'll be not bamo, oh papa, won't wear the breast mono, no, the engine there, a pay in your feedback, in your payback, reciprocate debby. See, as I'm not the ones.
Yeah, I am Ato Nkroma. If I will paraphrase your submission, you said God is both a builder and a destroyer. I don't know if I'm right. So, because of that, you also mentioned that you don't destroy because of karma. Let me put it that way. That's what my brother said. Now, we have insects like mosquitoes. We have reptiles like snakes. We dread these creations. My brother just mentioned if maybe you use your car to knock a mad person and kill him, you've caused karma. Now, we are saying God is both a builder and a destroyer. So if I should kill a mosquito or a snake, have I done something wrong? Otherwise, kindly show us the right way to deal with such animals. Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. Please welcome to our temple. This is the Ethereum Mission, the Center for Spiritual Empowerment. Om Mani Padme Om. The attainment is sure. Have you heard this? It's from them. Go Vasava Ta Savito Variam Bago Dimasia Dimai Iyo Yura Chachundiat. This is also part of our worship. God bless you.
Arum.
Now, thank you for describing the attributes of God and what is represented in Hinduism. What we see as symbols that represent God. But we know here, by our teaching in metaphysics, which we do here every Sunday morning, that God is infinite and the attributes of God are infinite. So in trying to describe God through these finite units that you have, which become an expression or a contact to see and express God, don't you think in any way you are limiting God? Or you have one symbol that represents all unexpressed, infinite expressions of God as one symbol. Finally, what is the significance and the symbol of the bull or the cow in Hindu worship? God bless you.
Hello?
Just like praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Arum. That is
Yes, my friend, you are from the Center for Spiritual.
My name is Questor Squatty. I'm the General Secretary of this church.
Okay.
Of the Ethereum Mission. God bless you.
God bless you.
Yes, the questions are very interesting still, I observe. Your question of whether if we use images and symbols, somehow, whether we are not limiting that. Yes, you are right. Because just as in the physical sciences also, if you are talking about even the number line, you go up to a point, you can just imagine what it should be. For instance, if you're talking of complex numbers, real numbers, and all those things, you are unable to do exactly, but you can see that, yes, they do exist. It's a possibility. We, in my submission, I did say that for a novice, we do that. We use the symbols and images. But a fully blown yogi, this is what I say, be even a Robinson Crusoe, you are in tune, you are doing the best thing that you ought to be doing in this life existence. You don't need those things. Just as I said, that counters may be good for kindergarten students, pupils, but do we use counters at the university level again? No. It's just for you to kickstart. So it's good you have observed, right, that by that means there's some form of limitation that has come in. But we don't use that always. You see somebody, if somebody seated there, he will not be even using anything, but he's doing meditation, he's in tune with God. Then my friend, I don't know whether I'm satisfied, my friends did say something about killing of mosquitoes and snakes and that kind of thing. First, before we zoom in on the real answer that he may be anticipating, we must get it right that God is all-knowing. God is omniscient, if you want it, for lack of this. So there's nothing that God makes that hasn't been there for a purpose. No. God he knows everything. Holistic, complete. So he cannot make a mistake. So snakes, mosquitoes, and others, they are for a purpose. They are to serve a purpose. At the same time, we human beings interacting in an environment with them, just as you said, right, by instinct or whatever, we may have to kill them. Most important thing is not what you do alone that matters, but the reason behind your action. The reason behind your action. I'll tell you a story. There is maybe a group of armed robbers chasing somebody, a merchant, and you are somewhere, and the merchant comes to you to seek to hide, and you hide him, and then all of a sudden, the group of armed robbers come in, and then they ask you, looking for Mr. A, and you don't show him. You have told lies. You have not said it. It is equally wrong. But then, is it as wrong as you have stolen something? They ask you, say, no, I have not stolen. They are two different things. In that instance, you have committed karma anyway. In this one, too, you have committed, in this second setting, you have committed karma, action, that you have to pay for. You cannot go unpunished, or you have to pay for any action of yours, either be in action, word, or mind. But you agree with me that the reason why you act in the second manner is different from just telling blunted lies. So the motive for doing something is equally important. So you may kill mosquito, but is that the best way you can go about it? Kill snakes. Where do you find yourself? Have you prevented yourself? Mind you, if you take life, you pay for it. Ario.
Yeah. Please, our General Secretary asks, what's the significance of the bull or the cow?
Yeah. Okay. The brother, your papa, your biasi. Me and as I hear soon in church on your physical thing. Into all when they echo mu, neddy and pence imagine. My me papa and the cano. More they can fan the kunduno. Kundi knows woman na ni na ya walankasa. Na mamindin kantre first one okay there. Ye chere nyankopon otide na nyadam na ya nyankopon ketekete e wa abodima nyadama. Okay. Me kede nyankopon ye nensaso. Ye nensaso. Ne energy a okita na infinite. Yamben ho kra na nam de na la abo na opedi yehum na nyam motinti no. Ne you know today akosombo. Almost 135 megawatts. Eba mun abasam no besi. Maybe someone so ba ha that megawatts no wa kosombo do ba direct today ma abasam besi. How about you? Into we're limiting first, second, third, fourth, and son Edruha Meboa. Them na nyankopon energy no infinite. Into all behind we're limiting the self in the form of this attribute as Christ, as Buddha, as nature that you know, this Judaism, Shintoism, all this thing. Ama any part be an creative biano we tum the ina mepe mpedam wash ye wonum pinja or harmon be or to nyuma e be nyaneda e be so host nyuma pepani ya make the will to everybody to choose what they like into that energy na hono say san ha ye ntum ngina no into no not that say yen ya limit onu mom na wa chada wa limit no ho da ma hende ye betina ase there ye number no se yansum no wa ha ya wa no so yansum ya me o yanso e pray yankopon dem a wa no pray yankopon dem e betum asum nyame a enende o be da zo hwe hende ahobrase bua onua adwene pa oni enye bia febi man mama ntawanta ma asomje mbra because nala nkasa no ya asomje etumo wa ade bia boti bia mo wa asaso no sunsum bia nala but order no ho edu mbra epede ehun ntina akobia bia la wa medicine ntina same ho no oye clear bisa nde so oye clear ho na about that say you attribute to God as them what I say o ma mo hu there asatoma na azenda there spiritual hu there asatoma na o kan ehun the way man am kan wa ha na answer be aka they all the same. Answer is the same. Obetuma change note no. Obetuma change note no. But the answer and the blessing within it is the same. Obetuma can no erem, obetuma can no gam, obetuma can different, but divine understanding is one. Come to the cow. Cow. Say on the mama no 9 months bia na wa o. No woman ya be de nufu. You will be often Surabi cow or spiritual world. In New Hobby, your spiritual ocean of milk, your spiritual ocean of honey. They will divine an ocean or the higher salt. But in spiritual world, say on American hang on papa. But yeah, had any salt. Even salt in the crown do. Baby will deep sea, baby a proper water. Baby will taste wine. Baby, you'll taste honey. But to be honest, just a master's in the one because it's not your cup of tea to read there. I was there when we were as in the Yamot, and that's no remember them rougher. I made to me in Yamka. And in a cow, no, into no connectivity, not by a name, I mean, ma, we have unions and 9 months. Yamo when Nufunin, but from whom I ben and Lancasaka for Nufunin afternoon. Our mamma and Abba, catch up a finance and off in Nufu afternoon is the cosmic connectivity. Is there Afraba no abanu Afraba nyafin abasa so incarnation abade da ansa na enye in kitanwudi wo sunsun enye the same karma nti obo anda wa abeso e nti sai bo abura ebenya Afraba nso obo aburu nso ebeso e webusuam nso wa haudamara ebia na wo tetewe wo mu no na hawadwen nti ebenya bi ebi there membe na mo sika nso soro sai na wor say kai enyim be 1,000 years brebi a boy no and asan ebe ho number watch wa so ma mofam ne wa bom mom se ka na ebo ho no ebu obi ohia ni pa nso so number nyame adom kakra anti God works in mysterious way nti ka no ono na connect to the order of this and ono also so gina ma sober ho bra say was in ntwi so okro na ho de no nyina ode apre you say oya abo bi o ahụ bra se pa spiritual no okita very profound meaning and explanation bi a ono na obo ahen na body na ono so kwa na nufuna na wode ye bibi a chis and wode mbo preaching here the original one pa na cow no wode ye bibi a into no the more explanation will come and am ohen bi o that's right.
Please, last question. Last question.
Yes. Hello.
Please, we also like you to be brief when you are answering for us.
Brief.
Okay.
You didn't answer me fully. Hello. I was asking that, or I'm not asking that. The master over there, meditating along that river, whom you call, facing the east, isn't it? Okay. So in your temple, do you sit in that position to do your meditation, and you made mention of Master Vivekananda. Is he alive among you? Because I knew that he's one of the elder brothers. So that one too, I want to know if that master is still with you. And one thing too, we've learned that we have good karma and bad karma. Thank you.
Please, the answering should be in 1
short,
minute.
In
Yeah,
1
short,
minute.
yes.
In spiritual explanation, it's profound. But more can him puno or be some man mame. Oh, ampo. So I met to my the whole day out even to the following day. I won't feel those because it satisfies me. Questions now, but mama if you say, did the whole day cry, this one, the nectar in the message of God, you become satisfied. You don't feel happy. You can feel something within you, but you can't express it too much. Yeah. And my brother, go there.
As to whether
They say 1 minute, don't go far.
as to whether this is the way we meditate or not, there are several ways to meditate. If one was waiting for an ideal opportunity like this, how many times will one be able to meditate in his lifetime? There are people who are renunciates. I'm a householder, but I must meditate. Renunciates go out even to the forest caves to do that. Perhaps they can do something like this. When you come here, you are given the tools as to how to go about meditation. You can vary depending upon the situation. You don't necessarily have to go to the Ganges or the Himalayas in order to do that. In your home, you can meditate. Okay?
Meditation on and baby put there. A hand or there meditation. And yeah, sorry if you won't pardon now, would I name when I be to my meditation? What would name have to my meditation if you feel it? A pack will have been to my meditation. So on your limit there, or they face the east in putting them origin on your renounce it to Ogu temple. I would one call forest, wo to Moko Sunya, okay, yes, our meditation. There was spiritual exercise and so what say Yarbaby day no acquire or find asanas. Some matters the men so on where post service on so Buama, a 50 years to crab, look at 35 years. Nina Yanko Pona, not shed the mad de Nimpa, won't share the Mazue na Mary.
God bless you. God bless you.